Mm. Assalamu'alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Sisters Hour. Please do let me know if you can hear me, if you can see me. Is is my picture quality fine? Please do drop me a line on in the comment section. Give me a thumbs up if everything is working. If you're a regular viewer of Sisters Hour, welcome back. So great to see you. If this is your first time on Sisters Hour, a huge welcome to you. Welcome to Sisters Hour. And this is a weekly talk show that highlights the stories and experiences of the incredible women in our community. Sisters Hour is an open and safe platform. And if you have a special story or if you have an incredible experience that you want to share, please do get in touch with us. Please drop us a message on Facebook, on Instagram, and let us know what you want to share. And inshallah, we can make that happen. Alhamdulillah, we have dedicated the month of February to talks about motherhood. And we especially wanted to highlight the stories that are shy, that we don't usually talk about. Last week, we had Sister Shakira come on, and she spoke about preparing for motherhood. She spoke about the physical, mental, and spiritual barriers to conceiving. And that episode is on our Facebook and our YouTube. And if you're interested, please do rewatch that. Inshallah, this week we'll be joined with Roslina, Sister Roslina, and she will be sharing her experience of overcoming postnatal depression, inshallah. As you know, we are in the month of Rajab and just want to wish everybody a wonderful month. And if you're wondering, Sarah, what's that incredible calendar that you have up there? I just want to let you know that this is the Sofa Educational Foundation first charity calendar. And like all good Islamic calendars, it has the Georgian dates as well as the Islamic dates. And what a great way for you to start Rajab by grabbing one, because all donations, all proceeds will go back to the charity. So this is a great way for you to support the Sufa Education Foundation, all the services that we provide, and inshallah it'll be a means that can increase your deeds and rewards. And we will inshallah begin. I will now be inviting Sister Roslina, and I will be calling her Kaina. Assalamualaikum, Kaina. How are you? Welcome to Sisters Hour.
Alhamdulillah, mashallah. Happy to be here.
Alhamdulillah. How are you today? Are you well?
Alhamdulillah, yes. Thank you.
Alhamdulillah. Now, we're dedicating this entire month to motherhood. What we don't talk about, that's the theme of the month. And last week we had Sister Shakira come on, and she explained to us, the preparation of motherhood. Now, you have three children. You have three
Yes.
wonderful children who are now in their teens, and we just want to take a step back, like going back to when they were toddlers, when they were babies, when they were small. What was your life like then? What was the family like? Were you studying? Were you working? How did you manage your family then?
I was working full time up until the second child, and then I was made redundant. So, and then I became pregnant with the third. So my husband and I discussed it, and we thought that it would not have made any financial sense whatsoever for me to go back to full-time work, because we would have to put two of them in childcare. So we decided that I just continue being a full-time stay-at-home mom. And that was that. So I never went back to work after the second one. I did have family members, relatives coming over to help me with the kids when they were babies. And because I had them really, really close together, they were 2 years apart, each one. So it was quite tricky having three toddlers at the same time. It
I
was
can only
quite hard work.
imagine taking care of all three, but you had some help, and I guess there were some
Yes.
changes in your life. And for the viewers out there, Kaina actually reached out to Sisters Hour, and you reached out to us because you wanted to share your story about overcoming postnatal depression.
Yep.
If you don't mind, Kaina, can you just share what postnatal depression is? Give us like a very brief overview of what it is so that we can all understand it.
Yeah, sure. Um, I know the word depression is used quite loosely by a lot of people. Um, they tend to use the word depression when they are feeling low or feeling sad. So that's it's the real depression is really so different from your normal of feeling low, because even if you had the baby blues, according to doctors, baby blues are temporary feelings of sadness. It usually starts on the third day after the birth and would usually end by the 10th day. That is baby blues, and not unusual, I think, for a lot of people. But with postnatal depression, you are constantly in a low mood, you are constantly tearful, you lose interest in every aspect of your life, including eating and sleeping. You forget about your self care. Um, you are always irritable, always crying, very tearful, feeling guilt, and you cannot concentrate on anything. You forget everything. And all these carry on for longer than 2 weeks. So if you experience any of this for a lengthy period of time, the chances are you are suffering from depression and you should see someone.
Thank you so much for sharing that. I really appreciate the fact that you compared postnatal depression to baby blues.
Mm.
Um, because I'm not a mother. I guess I have to kind of give that as a disclaimer. I'm not a mother, so I haven't experienced childbirth and all the good things that come afterwards. But I didn't know that there was a difference actually in baby blues, which is almost like a short-term feeling of lowness. I can sense.
Yeah,
And then postnatal
yeah.
depression, from what I've read, can last up to a whole year. So 1 year after the child has been born, and that's when it's most commonly diagnosed.
Hmm.
And I guess, you know, you said that you're feeling low, you're feeling tearful, you're feeling very anxious. That's you as a person, as a mother. And in my mind, when you said that, I can imagine you feeling like that, plus having your three children, your two toddlers, your baby to look after, your household.
Hmm.
So the whole scenario can be really overwhelming for you. I mean, for women in general, right?
Yes, for a mother it is, because you you want to look after your children. You're trying really hard to look after your children, but you just cannot cope because you feel like everything is too hard, and that's when your guilt kicks in, and it just goes in circles.
It's a lot of strong emotions, almost like attacking
Yeah.
you, kind of guilt,
Yes. Strong
and what.
emotions is correct. Yeah. Yeah. Mm.
For the viewers, for clarity for the viewers, you were actually diagnosed with postnatal depression after your third child. So not with your first, not with your second. I just want to almost create a picture as to what felt different for you after the third child. Like, what was the moment you realized, you know, something doesn't feel right. I'm not feeling like I did when I gave birth to my first and second child, because, you know, I can imagine that when you give birth to a child, it's such a huge blessing. everybody's happy, everybody's joyous, everybody wants to celebrate with you, and the family is all happy to greet another child, a newborn baby. But you felt differently. Can you explain what you felt and what was the almost light bulb moment for you?
Hmm. A little bit of backstory. Even though I didn't go through postnatal depression with the first two, I was diagnosed with clinical depression just before I had the first child. So when she was born, um, looking back now, I didn't realize it at the time, but looking back now, I did not connect with her at all. Um, People say, yes, you should be joyful. All that motherly love will come out of you, and you're going to love your baby so much. I didn't feel any of those. So, and the thing with depression is, once you've suffered from depression, there will always be times when you have a relapse. You will um, go downhill again. It will be a roller coaster. So I think by the time I had the third one, there were a lot of contributing factors as well, I think, leading up to his birth. But it turned out to be a traumatic experience because I thought I nearly lost him. And he had to be put in the neonatal intensive care unit. So I think that was the main trigger. But I did not realize it until maybe he was about 6 months old. And yeah, the light bulb moment came when I found myself one night when they was sleeping. I started making plans in my head. I was going to divide them up to different family members who I thought would be best suited to take care of them um, when I'm gone. So I already had suicidal thoughts in my head. And so I had to plan the care for my children. So that was as soon as I had those plans in my head, I knew that I needed help.
When you said that, my heart was breaking because I can only imagine the intensity of your emotions as a mother, and you're thinking, uh, I'm sure someone out there is better to look after them than me. So I just want to thank you for sharing that, and I think it's incredibly brave of you to come on and share that with the world and on this platform, and saying that I was weak in that moment, but that was the moment that I realized I needed help. And so what happened afterwards, and when you realized that this is completely wrong, I need help, someone needs to help me, what did you do straight after that?
Um, I started packing a bag to take myself to hospital because it was the middle of the night. GP obviously wasn't open. But when I started packing, the oldest one woke up, and she couldn't understand why I had to go away, and she started crying. So I had to wait till the next morning, and then when I think she must have gone to school. Then I called up the GP surgery, and I told the receptionist what I was experiencing. So they knew that it was some kind of an emergency. So my GP was very, very good. Wait, she she saw me at the end of the day when everyone had gone. Uh, so she made extra time. She made extra time for me. Um, she offered to send me to a special place. It's a unit for mothers with newborns, with babies. She offered to refer me there, but unfortunately, my husband disagreed, so I stayed home. But she put me on medication straight away, and we just went from there.
And I would imagine that they also signed you up for treatments. Did you
Mm,
speak to a psychiatrist? Did you speak to someone who
yeah.
specialized in postnatal depression? How was that like for you then? That side, that treatment.
I wasn't too keen on psychotherapy because I didn't feel like it would help me so much. And I think I was right. Although it did make me um, talk about a lot of issues and a lot of discovering a lot about um, triggers, things that would start sending me on a downward spiral. But other than that, it didn't offer me any solutions how to deal with it. So I started recognizing things, but not how I should deal with it. So I think after I went through 3 psychotherapists, I started doing cognitive behavioral therapy, which is totally different. Um, so we worked on how uh, we how we would find ways for me to handle all these triggers. So I think that was really helpful.
And can you share with us what you learned? Like, what was one of the triggers for you, and how did cognitive behavior therapy help you deal with your trigger? Was there a particular one that you can remember?
Yes, the main trigger, unfortunately, is my husband.
There's always someone. There's always a culprit, right?
Unfortunately,
Um,
uh, but I know it sounds really bad for me to say that. I'm sure a lot of people would think, "Oh, that's awful," but he is my main trigger. So we discussed it at length, and how to cope with it. I mean, now I am much better because the thing is with depression, there's always a lot of guilt involved. Um, so when you are made to feel guilty and not very useful, um, that can have quite a profound effect on your self-esteem, especially. So in the past, I would probably get very emotional if ever I experienced any of those feelings. But through cognitive behavioral therapy, I have found ways to face it in a more positive way. For example, um, one of my therapies which I found really suits me is gardening and crafting. It calms my mind and it grounds me. And a lot of scientists even say that the actual smell of earth when you're working in the garden, the actual smell of the earth is um, good for your mental well-being. I can't remember what it is, but there has been some research that suggests that. So it's therapeutic. It is. It is therapeutic.
You know, I found it very interesting. You said that the biggest trigger for you was your husband, and I remember last week's episode about with Sister Shakira, and she said that during pregnancy and childbirth and the months afterwards, there's a tendency where the husband or the partner is on the sidelines, um, because it's not about them, it's about the mother. So they're in this awkward position where they want to help but don't know how to help. So they're in this
Yes.
gray area. So it's
Yeah.
actually wonderful to hear you, the same point, that they just don't really know where to be.
Unfortunately, yes, bless them. A lot of husbands, I think they just do not know what to do.
I think
So,
Sister Sawa may have to do a session about what husbands should do after childbirth. I think that you've definitely inspired us to do that. Um, I would like to ask, I mean, postnatal depression in our community, in our society, it's still quite a taboo subject. Not a lot of people talk about it. I mean, I'm 28 years old. I know a lot of mothers, but only one or two of them I know have suffered from postnatal depression and who've talked about it openly. How is it like for you to share your experience with your loved ones, with your family, with your friends? I mean, you said that your eldest child woke up, right, when you were about to pack your bags.
mm,
How was it like sharing the news with your children as well?
I've I've never actually talked about depression when they were young because it would have been too much for them to handle and they wouldn't have understood. But now that they're teens, and there has also been a lot of talk about young people's mental health. Um, they know now that I suffer from clinical depression, so and they understand. So it's a subject that we talk about quite often as well because in this age of technology and social media, I think young people's mental health are also quite affected, and they are very aware of it from a young age. So yeah, we talk about it now, and they understand. But back then, uh, I had mixed reactions from family and friends
It's very interesting.
because yeah, because the thing is, that this is the whole reason why we have Sisters Hour. It's the lack of awareness, and that leads to uh, not knowing how to help people. I mean, I wouldn't have known how to help people either. I read about postnatal depression in all the pregnancy books, but I couldn't relate to anything they said until I went through it myself. So I do understand where everyone else is coming from. The lack of knowledge. Uh, Sometimes you think that you are trying to help people, but it may not necessarily be so. So we do need a lot of education and awareness about depression.
I understand when you say you got mixed reaction, because it's not always easy for people to hear that their
Mm,
loved one is suffering from any form of mental health illness. And if you're not aware of it, if you don't know how to deal with it, you try to be comforting, but what you say
yes,
can do more harm than
yes.
good. So I think in a way I'd be more surprised if everybody gave you the right answer and everybody can communicate with you in the right way. But one thing you did say is that this experience, um, made almost was like a stepping stone for you to talk about it with your children. So now your
Yeah.
children are teenagers, they're in that, that age, and almost in a way vulnerable period in their life where they can suffer from mental health illness, and
Yeah.
everybody knows, everyone is aware of it. So I guess one of the blessings of going through this is the family is more in tune with everybody's mental state,
Yes.
mental health state. Would you say so?
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, because there's some research that suggests it runs in the family as well. I do have other family members who are going through some kind of mental health issues as well. So um, it has helped us all um, in supporting each other. I think we now support each other better than we did 15 years ago.
Alhamdulillah.
So, yeah.
I think that's the wisdom of going through mental health illness, is that it actually it makes you become a stronger person, makes you more
Mm,
aware, it makes you more cautious of how to treat people around you. And actually, it's maybe taken you quite a long time, but there are blessings that has come from the
yeah.
experience. I mean,
Yeah,
you just shared it
absolutely.
with me, but I can see it. Alhamdulillah.
It does take a long time. And I think I should put it out there that um, recovery is a long process, and it almost certainly will not be 100%. Um, I am still on medication, partly because I am quite afraid. I'm afraid to stop taking it. I did stop taking them twice before, and I just went back down. So I continue taking my medication just to keep myself at a sort of a, what do you call this? Trying to think of the word. This is the one of the things. um,
If it's a medical term, I don't know, but maybe
no,
I guess you pass a certain threshold. Can we say that?
kind of keeps me level.
That's a good one. Thank you for sharing that. And some people are very shy to share what approach they're taking to dealing with mental health illness. So it takes a lot of bravery, a lot of courage for you to share that. So I just want to thank you. And I guess you do you, whatever suits you best, whatever helps you, whatever helps you and your family. You continue doing that with the help and guidance of professional help.
Yeah,
Um,
I think that's important for everyone to remember though, because not everything works for everyone. So
find the right thing that works for you.
yeah,
Um, one Now, last month, January, we actually started 2021, dedicating the month of January to bringing awareness to mental health issues.
yeah,
And
mm,
we had a number of guests, and we spoke about their mental health journeys and their connection with God. Now, you went through depression, and then you were also diagnosed with postnatal depression. What was your relationship like with Allah? What was your spiritual relationship like throughout this journey?
in the beginning, before the postnatal depression, a little bit rocky. So it was, I had an on and off relationship, but when I went through postnatal depression, um, it changed. It definitely changed. My relationship with Allah got deeper, and I tried to be closer to Allah through prayer, obviously, through dua. Someone did ask me if there were any specific du'as that I used to recite. There isn't actually, but the only I yeah I said I only spent my time, a lot of my time, after doing masalah, just sitting on my sajadah and just crying my heart out. That's what I did, and the rest of the time it was just the one thing that's always on my tongue is la hawla wala quwwata illa billahil azim. I was begging for inner strength all the time because I didn't know how else or what else will help me get through it. Excuse me. So that was the only thing.
I mean, I think your dua was answered. Do you think so? I mean,
Alhamdulillah, absolutely.
when you said it, like my heart was like crushing. I was like, oh, Ya Allah, please answer her dua. Please give her inner strength. Give her like inner strength, outer strength, all the strength for her to feel better.
Absolutely, he absolutely listened because I could not put everything into words. I was literally speechless. I didn't know how. So all I could do was just sit on my sajada, and as I'm sure we're all aware, he is everything. He knows everything.
I think
So sorry.
that's really beautiful because sometimes words fail us. Sometimes you don't know what to say. Sometimes you don't know what to ask. But
Yes.
and Allah is so merciful, all encompassing that He knows what's in our hearts and what's in our mind, and
Yeah.
He can answer the things that we cannot ask for. So it's very
Absolutely.
reassuring, especially we're in the month of Rajab, where our we ask Allah to answer our du'as in this special month. That actually there are things that we can't ask for, but Allah is so merciful, so loving that He answers it anyway. That He gives you all the things that you don't
Inshallah.
ask for, and that is a blessing, and that's a huge blessing in your life, Kaina.
Yes. Alhamdulillah. Yes.
We're actually towards the end of our session, and I just want to read out some of the comments that we've
Oh.
received. So, Kat Sue said, Salam de Kak Ina. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you for your bravery, resilience, integrity, and strength. I mean,
Um.
what a topic to be discussing about in public, respect from us all. Hoping that something positive can come out from this, and we're able to talk and share with other men and women regardless. Alhamdulillah, that's such a
Alhamdulillah. Thank
dua.
you.
Thank you for sharing that. We actually have a question from a brother. Thank you for sharing your story, Kaina. In terms of preparing psychologically for childbirth, what would you recommend couples do to prepare for the dips and challenges in mental health?
Right. I think you just need to be very supportive of each other, and you ideally be in tune with your spouse. Sometimes I know people don't like to ask for help, especially moms. It's not something that you tend to do, isn't it? You tend to take on everything yourself and not ask people for help. So in cases like those, I think it's really, really helpful if your spouse is aware of your needs, and instead of waiting, you can ask. You can just ask, what do you need me to do? Do you need any help? But even if they don't ask, if you think that you can do something that will help, then go ahead and do it.
Don't wait for the order, just
No,
do it, right?
no, don't even wait for the request. You can, I think you can almost always see when someone is struggling. So just offer to do something.
I think that's so great. Just be aware of how your spouse feels. Ask, can I help? And even if
Yeah,
you don't ask, just do things that can help. maybe something around
Yes.
the house that can make them
Yes.
joyous. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a great
do
little
the
tip.
cooking, do the washing up, do the grocery, anything. The smallest thing.
I was gonna leave it to the men to figure out what they can do, but Kaina came in. She took over. There you go. Do the grocery, do the cleaning, do the laundry.
Oh, I'm
Alhamdulillah.
speaking from experience.
Alhamdulillah. Thank you so much, Kaina, really for coming on Sister Power and for sharing
Pleasure.
this, this important topic and almost like a dark topic. And you've brought so much light and energy into it. And I pray that your story
Inshallah.
inspires other people to seek out for help, to
Yeah.
ask Allah for strength. And I pray that your story inspires families to talk. You know, you forget that there is wisdom behind every trial. And I guess, I mean, for me, after listening to you, the trial, I mean, one of the wisdom was having a stronger family unit.
Yeah.
So I pray that you always have a strong family unit that supports each other.
Mm-hmm. I
Mm.
mean, and if you don't have family members around you, your closest friends, that would be
Yeah.
your support network. But you definitely, absolutely need a support network.
Um, any last words, Kaina, before we wrap up this episode? Any words of wisdom? Any last golden nuggets you want to share to viewers?
Please do not be embarrassed to ask for help. That is so important. There's nothing shameful about asking for help, be it from medical professionals, from family members, your spouse, your friends. Do not be ashamed. There is only so much we can humanly do. And sometimes you just need an extra pair of hands.
Alhamdulillah. That's a really beautiful reminder, the importance of community and support. We're all here for each other. Thank you so much, Kaina, for sharing
Inshallah.
that. And thank you so much for coming on Sisters Hour and for
Thank you
sharing.
for inviting me.
Oh, you're most welcome. We're so glad that you came on. Alhamdulillah. And thank you, viewers, for joining us on this episode of Sisters Hour, Overcoming Postnatal Depression with Kaina. I just want to say that we are in the month of Rajab, and Safa Mosque London and the Safa Educational Foundation has prepared some exciting new programs that are focused on enlivening the month of Rajab. So please do look out for any posters, for any new media blasts on Facebook or on Instagram, and do join. I believe that there is a session this evening with Ustaz Zaki, so please do catch that at 6 p.m. inshallah. I pray that everybody has a wonderful month of Rajab, and may Allah answer all your prayers and all your du'as. Next week we do have another sister coming on, and she will be talking about her experience with motherhood. So please do tune in and catch that episode. As always on Saturday at 2 p.m. I wish everybody a great weekend. And as always, if you want to share your experience, if you want to share your story, or if you have a suggestion, maybe there's a topic that you want us to do, please do get in touch. We always love to receive feedback, and we always get so excited when someone says, "I want to be on Sisters Hour." That's like, it makes our week. I'm sure my co-host Kat Fatiha would agree with me. We get super excited, and our minds just all the juices start flowing. So please do get in touch with us and let us know, and inshallah we can make that happen. But for now, I wish you a great weekend. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bye. Assalamualaikum.
Assalamualaikum.